way more than that, I would say. So we're in a new realm. We talked about it a little bit with Randy Mueller earlier this week at the wide receiver position. This is interesting because typically teams haven't done this. This is a sea change at this particular position.
Jody McDonald and John McMullen, your Mac Birds 365 guys of Football Friday. Kratz knows I'm just pimping him, right? Sometimes Ed's facial reactions here on Birds 365 scare me. That he's like getting mad at me because I'm kind of like jabbing him a little in the ribs. He knows I'm just pimping him, right?
Yeah, he knows. He knows. Okay, well, that's like your band. Like I always see you rolling your eyes when I say something you don't like. So yeah, you got to get used to it, Jody. That's But I will tell you that as crazy as it sounds, and I know it sounds crazy, he's not pulling that second round pick out of his you know what. That is real. For Jalen Reagor, yeah, I know. Now I don't think the Eagles are getting that, but I think that's where the Eagles started when they started talking about it.
Really, they were asking for it too.
That's what I heard.
Okay. Good luck. No chance, no shot, no way. Like I said, if he gets moved, which, oh, by the way, if they trade him, they would have to take a pretty significant dead cap hit. And we've seen them blow up the Eagles.
It's much worse if they release him, but yeah, it's still, and that's why they want something of value. But the thing about Jalen Reagor is, and again, I always talk about actions which are far greater than words in this league. Everything they've done, even though they haven't succeeded, everything they've done tells you they're done with Jalen Reagor. I mean, you and I have debated all the time, and you're 100% right. It doesn't matter unless you acquire somebody. But they tried and tried and tried and tried to get a receiver. Then they bring in Zach Pascal as sort of the safety net for Nick Sirianni, the Linus's blanket. Mm-hmm. Right now, if they don't add somebody in the draft, which is not going to happen, they are going to add somebody at some point. Even if they don't, by some strange cataclysmic event, they have no plans on playing Jalen Reagor. So, I mean, why is he going to be here? Why is he going to show up to off-season work? Why is he going to show up for little off-season work that they want? He's not happy. That's pretty clear by the way he's acted on social media in the past. And by the way, he shouldn't be happy. He wants a change of scenery. The Eagles want to change the scenery. I don't see how it's tenable. So they got to do something. They got to get him out of here some way. And they will be able to get something. Yes, I've had the same reaction of you when I heard second round pick. It was probably worse. I was like, are you flipping kidding me? And then everybody, it does only take one dumb team who might go back to the college tape and say, well, we can make something, egos. But when I say that, I find it very hard to believe that. But I do think it's almost 100% that Jalen Reagor's not going to be here come training camp, and probably not even mini camp. They don't have mini camp, but the OTAs in May.
Well, then they better warm up to that 4th or 5th round pick that they're going to get, because they're not getting a 2nd round pick. I don't think they get a 3rd round.
Well, I agree with that part of it. There's no way. I mean, you could start, hey, Godspeed. You can ask for whatever you want. I find it hard to believe somebody's going to bite on that.
Yeah, you can ask for a top 10 pick in the 1st round this year, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. I do want to stay with the wide receiver position, though, because a couple other guys around the league there was quote unquote information out on. AJ Brown, whose name has been tossed out He's on the last year of his contract before he's going to have to get that all-important second deal, and it's going to be up in the over $20 million range with the numbers that he's put up with the Titans so far. His coach came out yesterday and said, Mike Vrabel said, as long as I'm coach, he's going to be a member of this Tennessee Titan team. What's my favorite John McMullen line about people within organizations talking about potential future moves, John?
Not under oath.
Not under oath. Mike Vrabel is not under oath when he says, as long as I'm coach, AJ, but unless he's the one who's going to go into his own pocket to cut the deal for the new contract that Brown is going to make, he might be talking out of turn, and or he's putting out information that he wants out for varying reasons. There's a reason why that rumor got started, because it makes some sense. If Tennessee believes that he is that type of a receiver and he's in the next group down from the Adamses and the Hills of the world, well, it's real easy. Get a deal done. But they haven't been able to do that yet. So there have been rumors out there that he could be available as per a trade. But the coach wanted to back those rumors off for whatever reason. You buying what the coach is saying? Certainly not a end-all be-all statement of he's not being traded, but Tennessee being less likely to trade him or less motivated to trade him. What do you take of the Mike Vrabel statement yesterday?
I don't think they want to trade him. It becomes a situation. I don't think the Chiefs wanted to trade, Tyreek Hill. I don't think the Packers wanted to trade Devonta Adams, to be honest. Sometimes it gets to a point where you feel you have to trade a player. So I think there's two different sort of, sides of the demarcation line, so to speak. So, that the Packers essentially offered the same contract. Some say it was a little bit better, and Devante just wanted to go. And Tyreek Hill, again, the Chiefs thought they were extending the guy, and all of a sudden it turns bad. So these things happen really, really quickly. And, when Ed was on, just looking it up again, the Brandon Cooks contract popped up in my text, $36 million guaranteed on his extension. It's a lot of money, $18 million, and AJ Brown's getting more than that, way more than that, I would say. So we're in a new realm. We talked about it a little bit with Randy Mueller earlier this week at the wide receiver position. This is interesting because typically teams haven't done this. This is a sea change at this particular position, and it's you can see one local team trying to hold the line the best they can, but the water is just flowing in, man. It is breaking the dam, and I don't know if Tennessee wants to pay that kind of money. But it's not going to be up to Mike Vrabel. I know that. So he can say whatever he wants, and he can be telling the truth that he wants the player, but ultimately he's not going to be the one making that decision.
And I got to give you credit because you were right, kind of projecting and predicting about the Brandon Cooks contract. It did come back more than Allen Robinson's contract.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Which makes me think only one thing. The Eagles didn't go after Allen Robinson hard enough.
Well,
I know he landed with the Rams, who are the Super Bowl champions, and it's Hollywood, but the Rams got him for now, and this is an ever-changing and fluid situation. You look at the contract they signed Allen Robinson to, it looks like a bargain.
Oh, it does. Yeah, that's how quickly things have changed. I mean, they've changed that quickly. It is a bargain. And maybe they got a little bit of a Super Bowl discount. Maybe wants to play there. I don't know. You never know the intricacies of all these things. But, yeah, I mean, it is a bargain.
Here's the reason why, in my estimation, it's a bargain. And it lends me to the next question I was going to ask perfectly. The franchise tender. Allen Robinson had to play under one in Chicago. when you do that, it to me, it usually raises your expectation. All right, a team is willing to slap a tag on me. That means they're so afraid that the rest of the National Football League is going to put out an offer that's going to blow them away and take them out of the water. I would guess that your expectations are pretty damn high when you get away from being tagged. And he comes back at only $10 million per guaranteed for Allen Robinson. That is not that much of a deal, John. The Rams got to steal.
No, a lot of it plays it. I mean, he's had some injury issues over the years. Who knows what comes into it? But yeah, I mean, I would have tried for Allen Robinson. I love the player. I always thought he'd be a great fit for the Eagles. And they wanted him, and but the Eagles are very disciplined. I talk about it all the time, and sometimes that they're disciplined to a fault. And they are in a spot. You can't have it both ways, Jody. You can't go out there and say publicly, essentially, we're building, we're in a transition, we're building. What I call the we're not ready mentality. You can't publicly state this and not understand and assume everybody's going to pick up on the hogwash of it. And maybe Allen Robinson saying, well, they're not ready. And I got a chance to go play with Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald and so forth and Jalen Ramsey and on and on and on and on. You can't have it both ways. If you're going to act like I'll use a baseball term that you'll be very familiar with. If you're going to act like a small market team, people are going to treat you like a small market team. So you can't have it both ways.
And the difference is although I think it's a catch-all defense, there are actually small market teams in baseball.
Oh, sure there are. Sure there are. Different financial landscape.
Exactly. There's individual TV contracts and the NFL takes their 32 teams and they hack it up evenly between all of them. So it doesn't matter what size market you're in, you're driving revenues equivalent to those teams in the biggest markets in the United States. The argument holds no water. It holds some in baseball, none in football. But I get the point you're trying to make. It's perception.
Yes, the perception is greater than reality. And it's true. And that's a cliche. Cliches are usually cliches for a reason because there's usually a lot of truth behind them. And perception is greater than reality. And if you're going to act a certain way, don't be surprised when people treat you that way. And I think the Eagles are caught in that sort of cycle right now.
Which is a non-competing for the Super Bowl cycle. And yeah, with the NFC being what it is this year, I can see where some Eagle fans go, wait a minute, why aren't we doing more? We still have less than 3 weeks to go now to the draft, and Eagles will be aided by that. They've got both assets and top assets and depth assets and the like. They're going to have a better roster after the draft is over and done with. But yeah, there's been a couple of trades and some free agent signings that other teams have improved upon their rosters at this point where the Eagles haven't. They're trying to serve that dual master that Jeff Lurie put out there at the owners' meetings of building for both the future and the present at the same time. Easier said than done. And it's Howie Roseman's task. And I think both John and I have agreed that he's leaning more toward the future than the present, when maybe the present would be the better way to go because of the state of the NFC as we sit here right now. All right, he's John McMullen. I'm Jody McDonald. We are the Mac Birds 365 guys. Hoping to hear from Clay Harbor. How did you develop a relationship with Clay again, the former Eagle tight end?
Just on social media. I wasn't here when Clay was here 2010 to 2012. So the end of the Andy Reid regime, essentially. I was not here. I was in another city. So never got to know him as a player, but we follow each other on social media. So basically, yeah.
And
that's it.
We'll certainly ask him about his days as an Eagle, his days in the NFL, his days on The Bachelorette. Interesting fellow. We'll get a chance to talk to. Oh, let me just make one more social media point before we get a break in here. the latest guy to do this in the National Football League, and it's become a trend that I guess I just have to get used to. I'm telling you, I think it's counterproductive. It's silly, but it may be effective. So I might have to walk silly back a little bit. Did you see the latest guy to make a statement without making a statement about his tenure with his team, Johnny Mac?
No. What do you?
Debo
Oh, I
Samuel
did. Yeah.
has
Yeah.
removed all references to the
That's the
49ers.
top negotiating tactic in the modern generation. Remove all. Yeah. That is the go-to move now, Jody.
It's becoming that, but
That
then
is the go-to
again,
move. I remember when Stephon Diggs removed the Viking stuff, and I rolled my eyes. It was like a Jody Mack rolling of the eyes. And 3 hours later, we was at Buffalo.
that's what I mean. I don't like it, but you have to acknowledge it. It
Yeah.
has had consequences before, hasn't, for Kyler Murray, who's probably the biggest name who's done it most recently, and supposedly now he's okay with the Cardinals. If you do erase them and then you put them back,
I didn't even know how to erase them. I literally don't. I need Xander's help. If I wanted to do that, I couldn't even do it. I don't know how they do it. So God bless them. And then they erase only certain messages and then bring them back. I don't even know how you do that.
Nor do I, but it is something that you must keep your eye on if you believe that a player is going to be taking a stance or making a statement about his tenure with a team. Debo out in Sanford. If you believe it's the be-all, end-all, that you can wave your magic Instagram wand and make things happen, Debo Samuel will be elsewhere soon.
Jody, all these receivers are pissed, man. They're all looking at these deals and go, what about me? I just thought Debo, I love Debo Samuel. I love him as a player. I mean, I don't blame him. So everybody's got a top tier receiver. They're quaking in their boots right now because they're all going, when are they coming in? The only guys who are safe because you can't have an extension are Cincinnati, because Chase can't ask for an extension, and Minnesota has one more year, I think, with Jefferson before he can ask for an extension. That's it. You got to have him in those first couple of years.
Debo is just officially reached because I know he's still on his rookie contract, but he is now eligible for a contract.
Yeah, he's I believe he is.
Oh, that's right, because he wasn't a second round pick. That's why he's coming up earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. So if you go to Debo Samuel's Instagram, you will not see any 49er mention. He has removed them all. The 2022 negotiation tactic of the National Football League. All right. Mac, McMullen, and McDonald here on the Birds 365 JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Yes. What are we asking you to do, Johnny Mac? Those of you who are streaming in right now.
Like, share, subscribe.
And none of them are all that hard. So please do that for us today. We come back. We're hoping to hear from Clay Harbor, ex-Philadelphia Eagle tight end. Hopefully joins us here on Birds 365.